I walked out there and I was literally talking to the ref. Say you're DB. I was like this with the ref. I was like, now Caitlin got one, but why didn't she get one? Because if Caitlin's gonna get one, then she should have got one. It shouldn't have been one or the other. And I was just kind of pointing, and she's like, "Don't you point at me?" And I was like, "Oh, shouldn't have said that."
Sophie Cunningham is top 5 in followers on every platform when it comes to WNBA players. So yes, she should be one of the ones that get a shoe, because that's business.
You're in an entertainment business. That's when mental toughness comes in. If you're gonna live by praise, you're gonna die by the hate. And so I think that's on the individual person to have mental toughness.
Because this isn't the first time these two have had words. And it won't be the last. Let's be clear about what this story actually is, because the internet has already gotten it wrong a dozen times over the last week. This is not a brand dumping a superstar. A'ja Wilson has never worn Adidas in her WNBA career. She's a Nike athlete, same shoe family as Sabrina Ionescu and, as of last month, Caitlin Clark. Nobody got dropped, nobody got replaced. What actually happened is something almost more interesting. A bench player who nobody outside diehard fans could pick out of a lineup 2 years ago just got her own signature colorway from one of the biggest sportswear companies on earth, while the most dominant player of her generation watched it happen from the outside. And these two already have history. Let's rewind to where this really starts. August 2025, the WNBA semifinals. A'ja Wilson's Las Vegas Aces are on the ropes against Sophie Cunningham's Indiana Fever. Wilson, 2-time reigning MVP, the most unguardable post player in the league, is having the kind of night where nothing falls. Fever center Aaliyah Boston holds her to 16 points on 6 of 22 shooting, a brutal, statement-making defensive performance. Afterward, reporters ask Wilson about it. Her answer doesn't exactly credit Boston's defense. It reads more like a shrug, a just an off night kind of response. To most people, that's a throwaway post-game quote. To Sophie Cunningham, it's an insult to her teammate. And Sophie does what Sophie does. She claps back publicly, without blinking. That's the first crack. Most fans forgot about it within a week. Sophie didn't. Fast forward to June 22nd, 2026. Fever and Mercury, tensions already simmering. Dijonai Bonner and Caitlin Clark get tangled up. Sophie steps in to defend her teammate. Bonner tells her to stop pointing in her face. Sophie doesn't back down. She doubles down. 22 straight seconds of finger pointing while the whole building loses its mind. Staff has to physically separate them. Technical fouls get handed out. And within an hour, the clip is everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, late-night shows, even political commentary accounts weighing in on a basketball scuffle. The role player becomes the blonde bomber, the internet's newest obsession.
Sophie Cunningham, the blonde bomber, is coming out with shoes. These are so dope. These are her PE colorways coming out with Adidas. Oh my God, Sophie Cunningham, man, just keeps getting better and better by the day, man. I hope these are for men as well, man, because I would like to cop these, man. These are hella dope. Very Sophie type of shoes, man. Like, I don't know, I just look at these and I just see Sophie just all over them, man. These are perfect.
Here's where the story actually connects to the shoebox. Adidas has been quietly rebuilding its WNBA roster for years. Nneka Ogwumike and Chelsea Gray since 2017, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Plum after her switch from Under Armour, and Satou Sabally, who signed in 2025. No Adidas player has had a true signature shoe since Candace Parker. The brand has been looking for its next big swing. Sophie's viral moment didn't create that opportunity out of nowhere. She'd already been building toward it. A year earlier, she made headlines just for lacing up a pair of $45 Adidas sneakers in a regular season game. Weeks later, she'd landed a campaign for the Adidas Dame X line. Then the pointing video happened. Her following exploded across every platform, and Adidas made its move, a player-exclusive colorway on the Crazy Energy silhouette, dropping July 24th at $120. Pink to white gradient fading from the toe to the heel, light blue mesh barely visible through the side panels, orange accents on the midsole, unmistakably her, and notably, she's not even the only one getting a shoe that day. Satou Sabally's second Adidas PE drops the exact same date. This is a brand rollout, not a solo coronation. conversation. But because of the virality, because of the meme, because of the blonde bomber of it all, Sophie's release is the one dominating headlines. Now put yourself in A'ja Wilson's shoes for a second, no pun intended. Two-time MVP Defensive Player of the Year, the most statistically dominant player in the league, and she's watched the last month of WNBA sneaker discourse revolve entirely around a bench guard with a career scoring average in the single digits. She already has beef with Sophie from last season, and now the algorithm has decided Sophie is the story. But here's where it gets complicated, because this isn't as simple as Wilson is jealous. This is the brutal, uncomfortable math of modern sports marketing.
They're charging $120 for a role player. I see why Adidas is always coming in last place. I mean, look, in this league, let's be real. The #1 trending female athlete last year on Google was Sophie Cunningham. On Google.
Critics screamed stats. 8-9 points a game for her career. How does she get a signature colorway before players averaging double that? But shoe deals in 2026 don't run purely on box scores anymore. They run on search volume, follower counts, jersey sales, and like it or not moments. Sophie's 22 seconds of pointing did something a triple-double can't always do. It made casual fans who don't watch basketball stop scrolling and pay attention. A'ja Wilson built her career on being undeniable on the court. Sophie built a following on being undeniable off it in the span of a single viral clip. Both are currencies. Right now, one of them is buying sneakers. The backlash split the fan base into two very loud camps almost instantly. Camp 1, pure business logic. Sophie was already a top 5 most followed player across every platform before the pointing video even happened. Adidas doesn't hand out player exclusives. Out of sentiment, they hand them out because a marketing department ran the numbers, and the numbers said yes. To this camp, complaining about the shoe is complaining about capitalism working exactly as designed. Camp 2. This feels like it's rewarding chaos over greatness. A'ja Wilson has spent years being the standard the entire league measures itself against, and the sneaker conversation is happening around someone else entirely. To this camp, it's not really about Sophie, it's about what it says when the loudest moment beats the best resume. And sitting right in the middle of both camps is the fact that these two players already don't love each other. Sophie's history of firing back at Wilson's comments about her own teammate means a lot of fans aren't reading this as a coincidence. They're reading it as round 2. A'ja's camp has stayed quiet publicly since the shoe dropped into headlines. No statement, no subtweet, nothing that could be pointed to directly. But given last year's exchange, it's not hard to imagine this stings a little. Years of being the most dominant player alive, and the brand conversation keeps drifting toward the player who went viral for pointing at a referee. Sophie's response, for what it's worth, has been the same energy that got her here in the first place. Unbothered, focused on winning, yet letting the shoe speak for itself. The same refusal to back down that fueled 22 seconds of finger pointing is now fueling a real signature moment with a major global brand. Strip away the noise, and this story is really about one uncomfortable truth. Talent gets you onto the floor, but in 2026, culture is what moves merchandise. A'ja Wilson remains by any statistical measure the best player on the planet. Nobody serious is arguing otherwise. But Sophie Cunningham just proved that in the viral era, one unforgettable, unapologetic act can rewrite a career trajectory almost overnight, brand deal and all. So where does this actually go from here? Does A'ja respond the only way she knows how, by putting together another MVP-level season and letting her play do the talking, the same way she's answered every other doubt in her career? Does Sophie turn one shoe drop into a lasting chapter, the first domino in a bigger Adidas push? Or was this always a one-moment spotlight destined to fade by next season? And with these two already carrying real, on-record friction from last year's semifinals, does the next FIFA Aces matchup turn into the most-watched regular season game of the year? For reasons that have nothing to do with basketball, the pointing isn't over. The game is just getting louder. One thing is certain, the WNBA has never been more watchable. Two of its biggest personalities are pulling the league's attention in opposite directions, one through sheer dominance, one through sheer defiance, and neither one looks like she's backing down anytime soon. If you think A'ja deserved this shoe more, or if you're firmly in Sophie's corner, drop it in the comments, because this fan base clearly isn't agreeing on anything anytime soon.